morning everyone, welcome back to the Ruby White Road. Today we are going to be exploring the sights of Canberra but via public transport. So first up we've got the bus, and I grew up in an area where there wasn't really any public buses, so this is an experience for me. I even had to Google it. I've picked up my MyWay pass and I'm ready to go. Let's get started. Made it to the city centre of Canberra. It used to be called Civic, but it's now called Canberra Central, and Central being the name, it is the central business district of Canberra. Oops, some steps. And so you can get here from bus, and if you come from the north as well, there's already a light rail installed which is going to be extended down south of the city as well. And first stop, we are going to City Hill. And then we'll head into the shops and check out what food options we have for this morning. That's really cool. At the top of the hill they've got the Indigenous flag, which I feel is really fitting because the Ngunnawal people were here over 25,000 years ago, so they are the traditional owners of the land, and I like that they've been given prime spot at the top of the hill. Okay, so we have made it into the central part. Over here we have the mall, and there's wintervention going on, so I'm just going to explore and see what that has. There's a lot of people around, and every time you go in a shop you need to put on a mask. So I'm just putting it on while I'm walking around this square because there is a lot of people about. I just came past a really cool merry-go-round, and it was actually in Melbourne from 1915, and then in 1973 it came to Canberra, so it's been here for almost 40 years for the kids to play on. It's really cool to see such an old, historic merry-go-round still working today. We like the looks of that. Let's get some donuts for breakfast. So we just visited Wintervention, which was really cool. There's a bunch of people trying to ice skate on the ice rink, and it was really cold this morning. Gracie's outdoor dog bowl had frozen over, so there's actually some real ice on there this morning. Oh, this is so good. These are amazing. There's just something about fresh mini hot donuts, and that just makes them so much better than other donuts. Okay, so we have left the city centre. We are heading towards the lake, but I really wanted to come and visit this park. So this here is Glebe Park, and every time I've driven past it I've felt that it reminded me of the private parks near where I lived in London, because I lived in Zone 1 London, so there's private parks everywhere, and I was really lucky to have access to one through work and one through my house as well. And it's just so reminiscent of those parks. It's got the beautiful gates, but this one's open to the public, so it's not closed off to anyone. And it was cultivated from like 1973, where they planted all these trees, and it was part of an old two-story rectory. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and I imagine in summer it'll be really green and lovely as well, where I've only really paid attention to it in winter, which I don't know why. But we'll go and explore the park, and then we'll go grab our scooter and head down to the lake. So like, isn't this the most beautiful little park? Like, it's surrounded by buildings. You've got the rotunda, you've got the beautiful like woodland playground set in those trees there, which is absolutely magical. Like, you can imagine just going on adventures in that playground. Okay guys, I have just picked up a Neuron scooter, and I actually brought my own helmet today, being COVID safe. I have wiped all the handlebars down, and we are going to head down to Commonwealth Park and the lakeside on the scooter. So these scooters are found all over Canberra. You have Neuron and Beam. So I checked both apps, and this one was the closest one with the most battery. So let's get going. I haven't done this before, so let's not die. We made it to Commonwealth Park. So here behind me is the Captain James Cook Memorial Jet, and we're going to go along the lake here. So this is Lake Burley Griffin. It's an artificial lake, so it's part of the original planning design of Canberra as a garden city, and it came about from the damming of the Molonglo River, but it took 50 years to fill. So in the first 50 years it was still just a river going through here as it slowly filled up. So it just goes to show that Walter Burley Griffin and his wife Marion really had a vision for the future when they were planning this beautiful garden city. Anyways, let's keep going with our scooter and see what else we can find. It's so fun riding these scooters around. So it was $1 to access the scooter, and then it's 45 cents a minute, which is quite a lot. So we're going to keep moving and get to the Carillon Tower, which is on its own little island ahead. Okay, so we just went 4 kilometers on the scooter to get all the way to the lake, around the lake, and we're now here at the Carillon Tower, which is on its own little island. We're gonna have a check out this little island, and then we're going to cross the bridge and head over to the Parliament and other prestigious buildings. So we are leaving the Carillon Tower and Aspect Island, and I'm going to grab another scooter and cross Kings Avenue Bridge to get to Parliament House. Okay, so we are here at the old Parliament House. So this building was used from 1927 as Parliament House until 1988 when the new Parliament House was built, which is the Parliament House today, which we are going to go and visit. And it's a beautiful old building. It's very recognisable by the white. But across the road is the Indigenous Australian Tent Embassy. So it's part of a permanent protest that started in 1972 for land rights, and it's now a bigger movement for Indigenous Australians to have the same rights and recognition, especially coming to land and sovereignty, because they are the traditional owners of the land and the traditional people of this nation. Something just really struck me when I was just looking at all the signs and the banners down at the protest, and it's that Indigenous Australians, they fought in the world wars with the rest of the European Australians, and they still didn't have the same rights, but they fought for the same freedoms, but they don't have the same freedoms, and there's so much injustice. And it's just like, you see the war memorial behind at the other end here, which we haven't visited today because it's a bit out of the way, but yeah, it just really strikes me as a really powerful image. So if art and history are your things, down back on the lake waterfront here in front of Old Parliament House is the National Art Gallery, the National Library and all that kind of thing, where you can go in and visit as well. We'll skip those today because I'm not going in any buildings because of COVID. I'm trying to stay outdoors and just give you a tour of Canberra and showing that you can do it without having a car, because Canberra is a very car-based city. We are approaching our final destination, Australia's Parliament House. So from here I'll be catching a bus home, which will be just over this way from Albert Hall. But first, let's go check out the building where all of Australia's bad decisions are made. You can tell I'm a fan of our current government. Okay, so something I really have always loved about this building, and all buildings that do this, is the green roof. I love grass on roofs. I think it's fantastic for heating and cooling buildings naturally, and it just looks beautiful as well. But that's a wrap on our public transport and walking tour of Canberra. I hope you enjoyed seeing the sights with me today. Don't forget to subscribe for all the upcoming adventures, including, hopefully if COVID settles down, a flight to Sydney very soon. So until next time, I'll see you later.